Hey, what's up, people? Piz out here, and this is the Arrow Video Blu-ray release for Michael Mann's Thief. And just take a look at that slipcase there. Is that not gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful release this is. I'm going to show you guys, give you guys an up-close and personal look at this release, and I'm going to talk about the actual contents on the discs, and I can tell you that the contents are plentiful. But y'all just take a look at that slipcase. Beautiful, gorgeous. This is actually the limited edition slipcase version, which is available now over at Arrow Video's website. A standalone Blu-ray of this release, minus the slipcase, will be made available this summer in June. But y'all, this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous release from Arrow Video. Tons of special features there, tons of bonus content. But yeah, I just love that slipcover. Gorgeous. Let's go ahead and pop it out. The insert here is reversible. You can either go with the original poster artwork or this artwork. I decided to change things up a bit and flip it around to this poster artwork, which I think is really cool. We have two discs inside. One is the extended version of the film, and the other is the theatrical version. The extended version is only a couple of minutes longer than the theatrical version, but the extended version is the way to go. We have got a booklet inside here about the film. Here we go, Mr. Kahn. There's the contents credits. Stealing Back to Thief by Brad Stevens, a write-up about the film by Brad Stevens, and a write-up about the transfer. Cool stuff there. Very cool. And we got an insert for Rollerball, also starring James Caan, which is coming out from Arrow. Which I think by the time this video goes up, it will probably already be out. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled for the Arrow Video Rollerball Blu-ray release. Also starring James Caan. But yeah, let's check out some of the extras on here. This sports the 4K scan of the film, which is also on the Criterion Collection Blu-ray. It's also got the same commentary, but aside from that, this thing is loaded. This edition has far more bonus contents than the Criterion Collection release. We have got the audio commentary with writer-director Michael Mann and actor James Caan, the directors Michael Mann, a 2001 documentary on the filmmaker containing interviews with Mann, James Belushi, William Peterson, John Voight, and others. Stolen Dreams, a new interview with Caan filmed exclusively for this release. Hollywood USA, James Caan, an episode of the French TV series Send Regards, devoted to the actor, filmed shortly after Thief had completed production. The Art of the Heist, an examination of Thief by writer and critic F.X. Feeney, author of the Taschen volume on Michael Mann. Theatrical trailer, reversible sleeve, featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Marco Phantom. Collector's booklet featuring new writing on the film by Brad Stevens, illustrated with original archive stills. Lots of stuff on here to sink your teeth into. A gorgeous release, just an absolutely beautiful release by Arrow Video. Beautiful, beautiful. So what I'm going to do is talk to you guys now about the actual contents of the disc and give you my opinion on it. Alright, and continuing with my review of Arrow Video's Blu-ray release of Michael Mann's Thief. There's a lot of great content on this release that I'm going to get to shortly. First, I just want to talk a little bit about the movie. As many of you probably know who've been with my channel for any period of time, I'm a huge Michael Mann fan. I've loved pretty much all of his films, but I think the area where he truly excels in is crime dramas. Michael Mann is the king of the crime drama, and that is because he's done extensive research in that area, hanging out with cops, hanging out with criminals, to the point where he has it all down to a science. He knows how cops and criminals think. He knows how they talk, how they walk. He knows the fact that, honestly, they're really not that dissimilar, to be perfectly honest with you. Michael Mann wrote Thief and Heat right around the same time in the late 70s, of course. Thief came out in 1981, Heat came out in 1995, Heat being one of my all-time favorite films. I love that movie so much, a huge impact movie for me growing up. That film is just a sprawling, epic crime drama. Love it to death. Thief is a great film in and of its own right. Thief is a far more linear, sort of, straightforward crime drama, really. James Caan plays a highline jewel thief, an ex-convict who is trying to start a life, start a family with his girlfriend, played by Tuesday Weld in the film, but he's torn between crooked cops, he's torn between the Chicago Mafia. Thief uses what now is a pretty cliche plot device in these kind of movies, which is, you know, that last score, one last score, that final heist, and then I'm retiring, I'm off, I'm gone. And of course it never works out that way. But yeah, I love Thief. Great movie, great performances. James Caan is awesome. Tuesday Weld is awesome. Robert Prosky is great in the film. Willie Nelson's in the movie, gives a pretty good performance as well. The movie looks phenomenal. I love the way Michael Mann's movies look. I love his visual style, his artistic style as a filmmaker. I love the way he uses music in his films. Music from Tangerine Dream in Thief. The movie looks fantastic. The 4K transfer makes the movie look just 10 times more fantastic. I just love Thief. Great movie. There's a diner sequence in this movie that it always reminds me of the diner sequence in Heat between Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. And that's just such, that's an amazing just moment. Those two together, the dialogue, everything about that sequence in Heat is fantastic. There's a diner sequence in this film between James Caan and Tuesday Weld, which I think is just as fantastic. James Caan talking about, you know, how he survived in prison, how, you know, he was going to be gang raped, and how the only way he survived in prison was because he didn't care about anything, didn't care about himself. He was going to go out, you know, if he was going to go down, he was going to go down fighting, and that was the only way that he could survive, and that was to have, you know, no attachments, to have no cares, no worries in the world, not even about himself. And he sort of reverts back to that thinking later on in the film, which leads to a really amazing sequence toward the end of the movie. Great shootout toward the end of this film. But yeah, I love Thief. I've always really liked this movie. This is a great release from Arrow. This is an even better release than the Criterion Collection of Thief, which came out a couple of years ago. This is the version of Thief. This is the edition of Thief that you guys want if you are a fan of Thief. Or if you're just a fan of Michael Mann in general, this is the edition to pick up, and I'll tell you why. Lots of great content on this release. I took notes because I wanted to be thorough, so bear with me here. We've got a lot of great stuff on this release. First up, we have got an hour-long documentary called The Directors, about Michael Mann. It's a 2001 documentary about Michael Mann, the man, his films. We've got interviews with Michael Mann, interviews with Dennis Farina, James Belushi, John Voight, Tom Sizemore, Christopher Plummer, Madeline Stowe, William Peterson. Basically, Michael Mann talks about, you know, his upbringing, growing up in Chicago, going to film school. He started out as a documentary filmmaker because he wanted to add he wanted to have this sense of everything being genuine, everything being real. He didn't want to be a documentary filmmaker, but he wanted to get his feet wet in documentary films so that his fiction going forward would have that authenticity as you see in films like Thief. Great interview with him, great interview with it basically covered his entire career all the way up to Ali. So they talked to many actors that he's worked with who sing his praises. If you're a Michael Mann fan, just in general, if you love him as a filmmaker, that's enough, I think, to pick up this Blu-ray on its own, because a lot of information about Michael Mann, a lot of it directly from Michael Mann himself, you know, what sort of shaped him and molded him into the kind of filmmaker that he is. Talking about, you know, all the time that he spent, you know, researching Thief and Heat, really. How he drew inspiration from, you know, real life cops and real life criminals to make those films. Really interesting. I liked it a lot. Great feature. Next up, we have got Stolen Dreams, an interview with James Caan, a new interview that was conducted by Michael Felsher, Red Shirt Pictures, just exclusive for this release. It's about 14 minutes, but it's very entertaining. James Caan is, of course, quite a character. He talks about his work in the film. Thief is his favorite film of his. It's the performance that he's the most proud of, and he sort of talks about how he, you know, how he imagined the character, how he wanted to play the character, how he worked with Michael Mann to really create the character and have him leap off screen. Really fun, really interesting, entertaining interview with James Caan there. We've got Hollywood USA James Caan, which was an episode of a French TV series that was filmed shortly after Thief wrapped, and it's about 24 minutes. Again, very James Caan. A real character. They talk to James Caan aboard a yacht. He's fishing. They've got him playing racquetball with his son, playing golf with his son. He's talking about, where he grew up, the tough neighborhood he grew up in, his philosophies as an actor. He talks about working with John Wayne on El Dorado. He talks about working with Marlon Brando on The Godfather. Really interesting, really entertaining, really fun interviews with him. You get to see James Caan, the actor, the man, the father. Really enjoyed it. A lot of fun there. Next up, we have got The Art of the Heist, an examination of Thief with author, critic, FX Feeney. It's over an hour long. Basically, you're watching sequences from the film while Mr. Feeney talks about Michael Mann's background, talks about Michael Mann's influences as a filmmaker, the things that sort of molded him and drove him to want to make the kinds of films that he made. Talks about casting the film Thief, some of the themes in the film, how those themes have how the themes are similar with other crime dramas that ripped off Thief, basically, or that have just ripped off Michael Mann in general. Talks about the themes between Thief and Heat. Really interesting extra here. Really enjoyed watching it. Like I said, it was over an hour. It's kind of like, it was almost like watching a commentary. But it wasn't the entire film, and it wasn't really in sequence, the sequences that were sort of edited together. But it was interesting nonetheless. Really cool. Then we have a commentary with Michael Mann and James Caan. I listened to it. It was actually done back in 1995 for the DVD release of Thief. There are some gaps as far as the two of them actually talking about the film. But when they do talk about the film, it's really entertaining. Of course, James Caan, like I said, total character, so he's really entertaining to listen to. Michael Mann talking about the film, talking about what influenced him to make the film, about casting the film, about having real life criminals playing cops in the film, and having real life cops playing criminals in the film, and sort of the duality of a cop and a criminal, and how again it just one tiny little if the criminal had turned right instead of going left, maybe he'd be a cop. And if the cop had turned right instead of going left, maybe he'd be the criminal. How, they both have similar sort of mindsets, except one is breaking the law and one is protecting the law. But really cool commentary there. As I said, this is absolutely the edition of Thief to own. The 4K scan looks great. You've got uncompressed 5.1 DTS HD master audio. Movie sounds great. The Tangerine Dream soundtrack just sort of like wavers and envelops you. Great film, great edition. As I said, I think this blows the Criterion Collection release of Thief out of the water. If you're a fan of Thief, if you're a fan of Michael Mann, this is the edition to own. This is the limited edition slipcase version of the Blu-ray. It's available now over at Arrow Video's website. I'll put a link in the description. Just the standalone Blu-ray of this release will be out this summer, I do believe, in June. Definitely check it out. Follow the link. Go over, check them out. Check out Arrow Video. And yeah, this is a keeper. This is a great release. Arrow Video just knocked the ball out of the park with this release of Thief. It looks great. It sounds great. Loaded with great content. Go out. Pick it up. I highly recommend it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Take it easy. Let me know what your thoughts are on Thief, Heat, Michael Mann, or any Michael Mann film in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take it easy. Peace.